Hey guys, I decided to switch it up a little bit and start making patch notes into a video so I can just sort of talk off the top of my head while I'm working. And I'll still go back and summarize it all into a written format in text. So if you'd rather read them like you usually do, that'll be available as well. But this will help me sort of speed up the process. And I can also elaborate a bit more in the video than I probably would in the text. So anyone who likes this format better has the option to watch it or check the patch notes like they usually would. So anyway, I just released a huge update for the game. It sort of overhauled quite a few things to the point of rebuilding the files themselves. I basically built a fresh project and moved everything into it. And any system that I thought needed better optimization or had bugs and issues that needed corrected, I just rebuilt it completely. So you'll notice quite a few things that are different in the game, and some things are the same. The game is still built on top of the survival game kit, so that portion all stayed the same. I basically used a brand new version of the kit that was updated and then moved all of my coding in on top of the old systems that the survival game kit had already provided. So since it was already built on top of that, it was an easier thing to rebuild it than it was to make the game in the first place. And I took the opportunity to update Unreal Engine to the most current version, or not the one behind the most current version, because there was still a problem with Steamworks not working in 4.25. So I decided to just stick with 4.24 for now until that's a stable thing in 4.25, and then once Steamworks support is back in, I only need to upgrade one version to be current. So I was previously working on 4.19, and what was happening is a lot of new interesting tools are being developed very quickly for Unreal, and unfortunately a lot of people are only bothering to put the newer tools on for the current versions of the engines instead of backdating any of the versions. So I was missing out on a lot of tools that would have allowed me to speed up what I'm doing and trying to accomplish by myself. So I decided that it was worth taking a month to just rebuild and get everything updated to the most current version of the engine, as well as the most current version of the survival game kit, and then take my code that I had put on top of all of those things and sort of rebuild each one of those systems. Whatever I could, I moved it from one project to the other, and everything else I just started from scratch and rebuilt it, looking at the old code and improving anything I could. Sort of a side note to that too, if you have played a current version of the game and have it currently installed, the new update is going to require you to reinstall the game, unfortunately. Because I completely started a new project and moved all the files into it and renamed everything so that there wouldn't be a naming issue when I moved files. That is unfortunately caused the game to need to be reinstalled. So it's a very tiny game. I think it's only at this point like 2 gigs, maybe going on 3. So if you do want to try the new update, you will need to completely uninstall the game, and I would recommend just deleting the file in your Steam Apps Common. It's called Age of Omens, and it's in your Steam Apps Common directory. You can just go in there and delete it if it's still there once you actually uninstall the game. If you don't need to do that, if you don't want to, the Age of Omens base folder is still named the same. So it's just going to put the files in that same folder, which is why I would recommend just deleting it altogether so it can recreate a new one just in case. But that is an unfortunate thing that will never have to happen again. I'm not going to move the game or do that anymore, so that'll be the only time you'll have to reinstall, and I do apologize for that. It was something I really didn't think about when I recreated into a new project. I wanted to be able to move all the files in a way that I was leaving behind everything I wasn't actively using in the game. And I kind of get, you get excited, you think you're going to add a bunch of stuff, and then you realize that you didn't need it or you didn't want it, or it wasn't time yet to add it in, and it causes a lot of space to be taken up and a lot of time to be taken when you're backing up and saving and restoring. So I decided I'm just going to strip this down to only the assets that are absolutely active and being used in the game are being added one by one. I've learned a lot since I started this project, and my methods now are a bit more clean and precise than they were when I started. So I just took it as an opportunity, while there wasn't many people actively playing it, to do this one time, and for the future I will be able to move much more quickly because of that, because of the time it takes to save and restore and back up being shrunk considerably is a big portion of my day when I'm working on it. So anyway, that was just something I wanted to let everyone know. It's also written in the patch notes in the Steam forums, so if you have the game installed in any way, just please remember to uninstall it first, or you will run into issues. So you'll notice, if you played the old version, there's a huge jump in frames per second. You're going to get much better performance. I've smoothed out a lot of the animations for regular locomotion. Archery has been completely overhauled. There is now the typical draw the bow back and then fire when you're ready mechanic, instead of it all being one fluid motion. I was kind of trying to go for the idea that ancient stick bows would break if you were to pull them at full strength and hold them for too long. So I wanted to simulate having to draw and fire in one long continuous action, to make the starter bow sort of more difficult, and then also give the players a better feeling of progression when they upgrade to a hunting recurve that would allow for you to hold the bow back. That was my original plan, but I found that it causes too much frustration, and the idea I was shooting for was not exactly being conveyed to the player, and so I decided to scrap it and just rebuild Archery. I'm still going to do one more pass. It's not complete yet, and I am using a trace system right now that will be changed to particles. So a projectile system when the arrow fires, so that there'll be an arc like a typical arrow would fire and fall to the ground as it travels forward. This will currently, you can aim with the crosshair dead on accurate at any distance. That's going to change. You'll need to adjust for your elevation depending on how far the target is, and each bow is going to be a bit less drop in the arrow, so you'll have to adjust less for each of the distances as you upgrade bows. So that was one big change. A lot of other random stuff that you're going to see that is completely different. The sound system, I changed using sound volumes now, so I can add a lot more dynamic sound changing in the game depending on the environment you're in, and also mix in random ambient sounds, and have changed upgraded the music from the free assets that Unreal gave out to actually working with a French music composer named Chulainn, who is providing the music for this game, and he created an album called Northern Mist, which I actually listen to quite a bit just while I'm working, is sort of to get me into being inspired to create landscapes and that sort of stuff. I've been listening to his music anyway just because I thought it was really good, and I happened to reach out to him to ask about using his music in my game, and surprisingly he responded and was really positive about the whole thing, and gave me Northern Mist to use for Age of Omens. So that album is in the game now currently, and different songs will randomly play as you explore. I also added a new settings menu, and the settings menu, there's still some functionality that needs to be added and built to it. It's a plugin, and I went ahead and customized the looks of it, but I haven't gone and done a bunch of customizing to add control support yet. But it has full control support for all for PlayStation, Xbox, and PC controls, and we'll be able to rebind every key to every action when I'm finished with it. It's really easy to work with, and I've also talked to the developer of it on Discord, and he's super cool and willing to help with any issues. So I don't foresee any issues getting that up and running, so that everything can be rebound to however you guys like to play. So that's a big improvement, and it saved me a ton of time. I rebuilt if you tried to bind keys in the original version of this game, you know that it was terrible. I coded all that myself, and it worked for what it was, but there was several issues with it. It took me a really long time to create that system, and it was just not very good, and it didn't allow very many options. It was only for PC controls. I don't even think Gamepad had any support whatsoever. So this is a big improvement. Saved me a ton of time and a lot of future debug work, a lot of future expansions I had planned are already in it. So it's just a good thing all around that I switched to that settings menu. It's kind of a hindrance when I'm going to update the engine later on. It will be a bit trickier, but I was able to do that once, and it seems like as far as a plugin, it's pretty easy to upgrade engine versions, so that shouldn't be an issue. So anyway, enough of the technical jargon and talk. I just wanted to... So anyway, I don't want to bombard you with a ton of stuff. Just check it out. I'm going to update the demo version also. If you don't want to buy the game, I totally understand. It's not in a phase where it's ready to be purchased unless you just purely want to support my work. So if you're watching this and you're seeing the visuals and you're seeing the atmosphere and you want to give the game a try, all you have to do is go to my Discord, and you'll be able to download the free demo version, which is the same thing as what's being sold on Steam right now. So there's no reason to really buy the game unless you just want to support me. So I just wanted to make that clear. If you would like to get the demo version and check it out, just go into Discord. I'll put a link in this video at the bottom in the description. Just head over to the Discord channel. On your left, you'll see a little a chat section called Downloads, and the current version of the demo will be there to download. You can run it. It's just an exe file in a folder. You can run it and just play it. It will still play on Steam, so if you're logged into your Steam account and you run the exe file, it's still going to connect to the Steam network. It just won't be in your Steam library, and at some point the demo version will stop being updated. I'm just going to leave the demo as is once the starting area is completely finished and I feel like I'm ready to move on. So for now, if you want to just follow along and on progress and play the game as it is updated, you don't need to pay for it. If you would like to support my work, the best way to do that is just to either share the video, like the video, subscribe, head over to Steam, make a comment, and if you really wanted to support the work, you could consider buying the game on Steam. That would probably be like the most helpful thing, but for now, it's not worth the money I'm asking. I just put a price on it and put it for sale so that I could continue working, because there was people interested in supporting it and supporting the idea. So anyway, that's enough for this patch notes. I have a lot more coming, so I don't want to just ramble on incoherently. I want to formulate this a bit better from now on so that my thoughts are more organized. But this is the new format. This will make it much easier for me, and hopefully if people like to watch and listen as opposed to read, or all three, you will be welcome to do any of those from here on out. So thanks for sticking with me, and thanks for all the support. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys in the Age of Omens.